Did you see what Messiah posts on the Chinese board?
Yes.
Yeah, this is actually a translation of that from Reddit. Yeah, can you go over a little bit of what he talked about and give us your thoughts on it?
Okay. He talked about a lot of just very specific stuff. So one thing he talked about was trinkets. The trinkets that they had when we play tested were very, very, very powerful, and the general consensus was that it was too strong.
It's too strong,
and pretty much it was just each trinket does one specific thing, and they're supposed to counter each other. And one is like CV, one is essentially Explorer word, and one is sort of an oracles, but for a very short amount of time. And by having it available very early into the game, perhaps even level 1, it creates this sort of
a lot of tension at the level 1 trying to gain vision and counter vision.
Yes, both sides would have it, and players and junglers especially have to work around it and understand when it's up, when it's down, where's the ward, and there's a lot of counterplay. It's one of those things that it's very easy to use, but very, very difficult to master, and it was not possible for us to master it in the very limited time that we have.
So it's really gonna change the dynamic of season 4 just by having this. This seems like one of those things where it's gonna be a huge overhaul in the game.
I mean that's typically what Riot is aiming for. They want to make the game very fresh, and at the same time make it more fun, not just for the competitive player, but for also the average, maybe the casual. And trinkets are sort of an introductory for players who typically don't like warding or don't know how to ward.
Yeah,
let's get them started, and it might be very cheap, it might be free, and it's going to get players to just try a trinket, and it's just there, and lets them, maybe next time they go back they buy a ward, and it's just one of those introductory things.
Okay. So another thing is a suggested change from what Messiah said was they're going to make the minion spawn at 1 minute versus 1:30, and the jungle camp is going to spawn at 1:30 instead of 1:55. What effects do you think how is this going to affect the game?
It was actually in the changes that we had when we were playtesting it, and what happened was you I forget, either you can leash or you can't leash, and basically they want it so that if you go into lane, you won't randomly miss a creep. I think that was one of the big things about it.
Yeah,
and
it's so annoying when you get a leash as a mid laner,
right?
And you go in because sometimes when the creeps meet up, it all focuses one, and then you just lose.
Exactly, it's frustrating for everybody involved and makes you not want to leash. Like oftentimes you see mid laners not even leash because they don't want to even deal with the possibility of missing a creep. And the same thing for all lanes. And so this is going to make it either both sides won't miss a creep, and you're either forced to leash or forced to not leash. I don't know, I forget what the value was, but depending on how they tune it, that's the end goal.
Yeah. Okay, so they're essentially they're going to choose one of two. Either it's going to punish you for leashing, or you're not going to get punished at all. So there's less variable, because sometimes you get punished, sometimes you don't.
You're right. They're taking out the luck in maybe if you leash, then you maybe lose a creep, and that's really, really annoying to deal with.
Yeah. Okay. The changes to Baron buff. In what Messiah was saying, they're going to remove the damage component and regeneration component and increase your movement speed throughout the entire map and your sieging ability on turrets. So essentially you're going to do more damage to turrets, and you're going to move around the map faster. How is it going to affect the game? So
this is more of a strategic change.
Yeah.
In the way, so right now, oftentimes it's very difficult to siege. The enemy team doesn't want to fight.
Yeah.
You want to fight, but you can't dive, and you're stuck in that stalemate, especially if it's an even game. And with the Baron change, it makes it so that not only can you just maybe hit the tower once or twice per wave and still come out a lot more ahead, but you also move around the map faster. So this is going to cause teams to really, really plan out how they want to siege.
Yeah.
And how they're going to do it is that, say they push a lane, say they push up bot lane, and bot lane is slowly pushing, and you guys run up to top lane. You push out really fast, and you get the top lane turret, the enemy team clears it, you run all the way down to bottom, and because you have more movement speed now, maybe you can get there in time and sort of just have good rotation. Teams that can rotate correctly and quickly are going to come out much more ahead. And it's going to also incentivize teams that are defending to want to defend by fighting, because you're not going to be behind in that aspect. So it makes it a lot more aggressive. Teams want to fight more instead of one team just not wanting to fight at all.
Okay, so just to clarify, so essentially, since you take down towers faster and you move around faster, Baron, securing Baron essentially is going to let you be more mobile and secure objectives better. But since the damage and the regeneration component is taken away, it's no longer an auto win. It's basically, we have Baron buff, but we have to use it strategically. But you can still catch us and you can still team fight. We gain no advantage in the team fight.
Yeah, that's essentially what it is. So both sides can do something with Baron buff. Baron buff isn't exactly one side has complete advantage. Just now it's one side has advantage in one way and you have advantage in a different way.
Yeah. So it's more of we have Baron, we have to, this is when we can siege and take towers, versus, oh, this is when we siege and try and take tower and the other team just turtle and wait for it to wear out.
Right. So that's one of those things that, you know, pro players kind of didn't really care about. It was just part of the game.
It was just part of the game.
And Riot recognized that they could change it, make it more fun. And that's just kind of what Riot does. They try to change things in a way that can promote aggressiveness or promote more strategic play.
Final thought. So, like, a common theme with Riot Games is they're always adding new content. It feels like every season they've done like an overhaul on how the game's played. What's your disposition on them constantly changing things? How does it affect players, pro players, and really the experience of the game in general?
It affects pro players a lot. The balance of the game, I mean, obviously it's going to affect how well teams do. A good example would be Curse in the beginning of Season 3, where they were completely dominating every single team. They were first in LCS. And then when their champions got nerfed, they just kind of fell down the standings. They finished the season not very well, I believe 4th, and that's okay. But so that affects teams a lot. But honestly, a good team should learn to adapt, and teams that have been playing for so long, they should be able to adapt, and it shouldn't be a problem. But obviously, players are not going to change. But for me personally, I see it as a challenge. For me, it's buffing my role. I like it, and it makes it more fun for me to play. So I like what Riot's doing. It adds a lot of freshness into the game. I remember times when I was really burnt out. You know, I didn't really want to play anymore. But new season, new rules, new game. That's how I see it.
Oh, sketchy. I like that.
All right. I should be spokesman for Riot.
You should. Alright, I think that's good enough. Right?
Okay, sweet.
Alright, thanks a lot for the review.
Yeah, no problem. Of course, Dan.
Appreciate it.
New coach for Cloud9, by the way,
New
guys.
coach for Cloud9. Yeah.
And I feel like this is gonna really.
Alright, let's start that over.
Sorry.
At what point?
The rotation part.
So teams are.